Welcome to the Pillow Fright Podcast. I'm Elissa.
And I'm Ama.
And we are 2/3 of your besties here to give you all the news and keep you up to date on everything horror. As you can see, this is not our normal slumber party setup. This is not the vibe of the movie nights we usually have. And our third K, our lovely K, is not here today with us.
She was going to be, but there was a bit of an accident, and her toe is now pointed in the wrong direction, so she's at the hospital.
It's very fitting, though, for today's video, I think, in terms of the nice graphic. And I'm very sorry if you hear my dog. Today is going to be an ASMR-heavy dog content for a bit. I am very sorry, but I will do my best to not let you hear him cry for food.
We're just keeping it messy.
Anyway, but we're here because we will never let you down. We're always here for you.
What else were we going to do on a Monday afternoon?
What are you talking about? It's a Friday night. We're supposed to have a slumber party. Bummer. Total bummer.
Oh, that's okay. Your mom gets a day off.
She does. She's enjoying her bingo night with Dad for once. He agreed to go with her.
Oh, so our first slumber party episode actually came out on YouTube this week.
Yes, it did. That was all the way back in the beginning.
Yeah, I know. We've gotten so much better at shooting them since. So even if you don't think that one's perfect, keep coming back. We're getting better at it. We're learning.
It's definitely going to be one of those videos a year from now we look back on and we either cringe or we laugh or cry or all of the above. But, it's a learning curve. The first videos are not supposed to be perfect because, it's DIY MacGyver style.
It truly is. So horror news this week. You got anything good?
I do, but I think you should take the first one because there's a whole lot going on there that is very overwhelming.
Okay, well, the first news today is Silent Hill is making a big comeback. They did a big TV presentation, I don't know, last week at some point, and they dropped the trailer to the new movie. As the press release goes, Silent Hill movie director Christopher Gans returns to the franchise with Return to Silent Hill, set to be a brand new film adaptation of Silent Hill 2, the video game. The first look teaser for Return to Silent Hill reveals Jeremy Irvine as video game character James Sunderland, while teasing the various threats he'll be facing in Silent Hill. This is a big deal for the community. I know it's long awaited. There's going to be, I think there's new games coming out and there's also new merch. So Konami is coming back, baby.
I'm excited to see Silent Hill in today's world because, I mean, again, here I am with my old man CGI gripes. I hope that it's done well, as we all do, but I'm excited. I'm not a gamer necessarily.
I'm not either. That piece of news was actually Kay's piece of news, let's be honest.
Oh no.
Because she's our gamer girl. But yeah, I mean, I know my husband, who's a big gamer, is very excited. He also is like, I don't know, this looks a little cheap. So we'll see.
I'm
tentatively excited.
We shall see. I keep seeing Bill Skarsgård name everywhere, literally everywhere.
Oh my gosh, right? He's got The Crow. He's got Nosferatu. He just had another movie come out.
He is the man.
Yeah. So
is he on our stand board?
He should be.
I think he needs to be on the stand board because
he's hot, right?
It's weird. I'm not typically attracted to blonde.
Oh, I am. He's a Viking of some sort.
I'm usually not attracted to the Viking of some sort. It's just usually not my bag, but there's something about that eye. There's something about that eye when it wanders, it's time, huh? It's time.
Like I any one of the Skarsgårds could just get it, in my opinion. They're all beautiful men. Even Stellan. Fuck, God, I'm feeling generous today.
Listen,
off talent alone.
We here at the podcast love us some daddies, which is not going to be in the final cut, but you might get this on Patreon.
It really should be.
We're going this is on.
But our last piece of news for this episode, Mike Flanagan officially signs on for the next Exorcist movie for Blumhouse. I know we talked pretty extensively in the past about how there was a lot of speculation, but It's been announced. He's probably signed the contract by now, and I know he's writing, directing, producing. Via the press release, it says, Blumhouse has made official that which is already out there. Dr. Sleep filmmaker Mike Flanagan is writing, directing, and producing a radical new take on the new Exorcist film, with the genre producer Anne Morgan Creek. David Gordon Green, the director of that movie, withdrew from the next installment. I believe he was supposed to do all 3. It was a trilogy. Yeah, I'm just sitting here giving you entertainment that you can watch later when you're feeling bad.
I'm going to hear it first, so it's even more awkward.
I've been acting out scanners for you. It's great.
I love me some Michael. Do you think he's sexy?
Michael Ironside? Yeah. No. I want to work with him, but I think that he's hideous.
I'm starting to think the weirdest people are sexy. Like Walter Goggins is this weird serial killer.
Walton Goggins could get it.
Can we have an orgy? I don't know if Kay wants to take part of it, so I'm not going to speak for her. But just in case, do you want to have a 3-way and a possible orgy with Walter Goggins and Michael Irons?
Walton.
I thought it was Walter.
No, I know.
Walton's even better.
I know it's fucking. It's like God. That much more hillbilly. You can see his dick in the first episode of Righteous Gemstones. True story.
Is that his real dick?
Wait, that's his real dick.
By the way, if you just notice the sudden subject change, because I really wanted to keep this.
Oh, you want to keep us talking about Walton Goggins' dick?
Yeah, if you notice the sudden subject change, I had to take my dog to go to the bathroom because he knows we're recording and he's deciding to do everything now. So yeah, we came back and we're talking about Walton Goggins' dick.
Walton Goggins'
dick. And Michael Ironside on the side. Kay is going to be mortified.
He's going to hate us so much.
She's going to be mortified. Back to our regular program.
Yes, back to fucking Bill Skarsgård going to Derry.
Bill Skarsgård is going to Derry. Can I write the theme song, please?
Yes.
Whoever needs the theme song to Derry, I got you. I feel like such a news reporter, and I love it. I feel so professional holding the piece of paper.
I hold my microphone like...
I know.
I'm sorry, I'm getting a little tipsy today.
It's okay. Listen.
I deserve it right now.
We are adults.
A bad day.
We are adults, and sometimes adults loosen up with an adult beverage, and it makes things a lot better. So that being said, Bill Skarsgård's the other one. Which, by the way, I thought they were the same last name and they were siblings, isn't it? Who's Skarsgård? The other one that's in Boys Don't Cry, and he isn't that a Skarsgård?
Oh.
And he's in a bunch of shit. Anyway, Bill Skarsgård, he's in it's a Max series, Welcome to Derry, as we have been anticipating, or a lot of us. He is bringing a familiar face back to terrorize the children. Bill Skarsgård is set to reprise his role as Pennywise in the prequel series. Deadline reports tonight. The series will premiere sometime in 2025, and it will be a prequel. Skarsgård is set to star and executive produce. And it will begin in the 1960s, in the time leading up to the events of It Part 1. I lost my place. We try to get all the facts straight, but we kind of like the idea of having this professional newscaster.
As I'm sitting here trying not to burp.
I'm very sorry. So the story is also set to include the original story of Pennywise the Clown, so we get a little bit of
an origin story,
a little bit of an origin story, which I think it could work for Pennywise. I think we want to know a little bit more about Pennywise.
Who was a dancing clown?
He was a dancing. Wait, am I doing my eye? I can cross one eye.
Ah, no, stop. I don't like it.
Am I sexy?
It's going to stay that way. No, I don't like it. I don't like it.
Bill, mine goes in, yours goes out.
Perfect.
Let's talk.
It's like, can you do those remember those things, those posters where like kids in the 90s?
Magic Eye?
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't see them ever. I think there's something wrong with me.
Siren.
As I fucking transition that into Magic Eyes. Sorry.
Right, Magic Eyes. Love me some. Are you excited about Welcome to Derry? We'd love to know.
I'm from Bangor, Maine.
I don't know why that was
I'm very...
I was gonna I don't know why I just paused. It's like like I froze up because I got intimidated because you're like from the source.
I just like, I really, someday I hope our podcast makes enough money that we can go on a trip to my homeland and I can show you like all the real locations from it.
That's going to be a Patreon exclusive all in itself if we get, anyway. I don't know if there's anything more that you want to maybe.
To tack on to me talking about, I talked about Mike Flanagan officially signing on for The Exorcist. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah. Now that it's official, I have hope. I actually really have hope. I mean, I'm from the camp of, I don't need a sequel, prequel, whatever, but these things are going to happen. It is what it is. I'm not going to stop them. But if anybody is going to do it, I think Mike Flanagan is going to bring some heartbreak. He's going to bring some cries.
He's going to make us cry.
That family unit, is it the same story, like with the same? No. So it's a whole different thing.
He's going his own direction. He's going to Mike Flanagan land.
Okay, now I'm really scared of the tears because you know how easily that could get into.
Oh, did you watch Midnight Club?
We finally finished it. It took a while. We stopped for a while and then we revisited it. It hit me in a weird way as somebody with like chronic illness. And so, I mean, I'm not like, that level, but as somebody who deals with, just chronic illness, watching that made me so sad.
I ugly cried through the whole thing.
Oh my gosh.
He's so good. He's so good.
It doesn't matter what he does. He just knows how to get a real visceral reaction. So I'm excited. I really hope he approaches it from that point of view and does more character-based work like the original. And the scares will be there. He's a master, in my opinion. But I really hope he gets that family unit.
Do you think that Christopher Pike is a real person?
No.
I don't either.
Wait, isn't that established?
Is it? I don't know. I just have never seen R.L. Stein you've seen pictures of.
Is that a Mandela effect thing? Because all of a sudden I just realized, I thought I distinctly remember, is Christopher Pike, is that a ghostwriter name or am I thinking of someone else?
I don't know. I have not researched it. I am just putting that out there that I've never seen a photo of Christopher Pike. I read all of his or their, I don't know how many writers there were. If it was ghostwriter, I read all those books growing up because they were a little bit dirty.
I'm going to think about this until somebody tells us.
Gotta Google.
Christopher Pike, are you out there?
Christopher Pike.
Send us.
Will the real Christopher Pike please stand up?
Please stand up.
Please stand up.
Will the real Christopher... No, really though, somebody please, is this a Mandela effect or is this real? Do you exist?
Yeah, sorry, we're on a tangent now. Anyway, have you watched anything new this week? Anything cool?
I want Kay here. Kay, we miss you. I actually for once caught up. I caught up and I watched a couple new things.
Ooh,
and this excites me because I'm the baby of the group in terms of being current. I'm just stuck in 1987 and I can't get out. But speaking of the 80s, maybe I didn't get out that far because I saw Lisa Frankenstein.
Oh, I love it. Did you love it?
It spoke to my soul. I feel like Lisa was my heart growing up, but we grew up in that time where everyone had to be Kate Moss, so I couldn't be Lisa Frankenstein because I was curvy and not Kate Moss. But I related to it. Obviously, I don't think it was a perfect movie. No movie is, but it was such a great escape, and the vibe was so good, and I loved them together. I thought it was really great.
I really wanted, I saw as soon as I saw the trailer, the fucking narcissist in me is I wish I directed this.
I can absolutely see Ama directing this.
Yeah, I think that Zelda Williams did an amazing job, but I think I think the last act could have been so much better. I want to work with Diablo Cody. 80s stuff is my aesthetic. The colors are my aesthetic.
Add that to your vision board if it's not already.
My vision board. My vision board is just don't die in 2024.
It's just the words painted in blood. Don't die in 2024.
Yeah. I watched. I know we put out a little mini thing on our Instagram today, but I watched Longlegs at a sneak screening, and
I'm so jealous.
Holy fuck, the world is just not ready for it. I'm so excited for when we get to July and we get to discuss this on the podcast as a whole episode when everybody can see it.
Yeah.
But I love Oz Perkins.
He's adorable.
He's so cute. He's so adorable, and he's so talented, and he has such a vision. I actually heard him on the Boo Crew podcast a couple of years ago talking about his approach to filmmaking, and like, he could be a nepo baby, but he ain't a nepo baby. He's doing these movies for small budgets, and he's really earned his place in the genre. And he's just like, yeah, I find a location I like and I go there and I drop acid and I write a movie. And I'm like, dude, I just want to hang out with you and do that. That sounds amazing.
Oz Perkins, we know you're watching. We know all these people are always watching.
Totally.
So Oz Perkins, if you're watching, can you, I won't partake in the acid part, but I'll watch you do it.
No, I've never done drugs like that. I've never done a psychedelic in my life, but I would.
I could never handle that.
I would do it for the sake of art. And I love,
makes sense.
I love the idea of like opening my brain to the universe.
So I didn't realize he was a nepo baby because I didn't know who that was. And I was talking to somebody who mentioned, oh, like as a joke, nepo baby, but I don't care because he's awesome. And then I saw the clip that you sent and immediately I was like, that looks like Anthony Perkins' son. And then I thought he also looks like he was in Not Another Teen Movie. He had like a bit part. Is that the same person?
Yeah,
because you said he was in Legally Blonde.
Yeah, he was like an actor in Legally Blonde.
Okay, that was him.
He was a whole ass role.
That was him then, because I know he said something like, "I'll give you a hand job in the bathroom." Like, what's her face? Mia Kirshner. Oh, wait, what's her name? Yeah, something like that. That was him. That was him.
Yeah, as a director, I love him. He has the career that I wish I had. Like, he's so good. And this movie, like, I am dying to have someone to talk about this with because it's so good.
It comes out my birthday weekend.
It's like, but Nic Cage in this movie goes, I mean, you have never ever seen Nic Cage like this.
I'm so
that's why he's not like, he's barely like tiny glimpse of him in the trailer, but there's barely anything because it's holy fuck.
I saw the trailer because I try to save it as much, especially with a movie like this, but I finally saw it because I was really curious before I thought I was going to go with you, and I couldn't make it last minute. So I was like, you know what, let me just see a trailer. Scared the shit out of me. I saw two of them, but one, and then all of a sudden there's a quick glimpse of him like for like a fraction of a second. And that's all I needed to see to be like, Nic Cage, my crush on you is gonna waver because I'm very scared.
No, it's not a crush Nic Cage movie.
No, it's not a crush on Nic Cage.
I was totally floored by this movie, and gosh, I went into it hoping I would feel that way, and I'm so glad that I did, because I'm honestly, a lot of the new releases this year, I've just been like, they're also, as the kids say, mid. Like, I haven't seen a lot that's like, yeah, the kids say that. I know. Nothing, like, there hasn't been a lot that I've been like, I'm gonna go see this again. Yeah. So I'm really excited that there's a movie that I'm like stoked to see again. Like, I tried to get you to go and I know you couldn't, and I tried to get my husband to go and he couldn't, and like, I'm like, but you missed it. It was so cool. I want to talk to you and I want to tell you all about it.
I know when I see it, it's going to be awesome. Yeah. And it's going to be the right time, like, right place.
I don't want to, count my eggs before they hatch or whatever they say, but I want to say it's probably the best horror movie of the year.
Whoa! Oh my god, I'm so excited.
So that's my horror news, or my weekly watch.
Also, I watched Immaculate. I just feel like I had to tell you. I just really quick had to tell you.
And it's funny, Alyssa and I have this. We go to Dead Right Horror Trivia, as we've said in the past. We have like a group chat for our team members. And they were all like immaculate chatting this week.
They were immaculate chatting.
Yeah.
Sup Patrick Squared. Sup Scotty. Sup Anastasia. Sup Kay.
Yeah, I think Scotty was not ready.
Scotty didn't know. Scotty did not know what to expect.
And Scotty has a podcast called Fun with Horror. And I think that their vibe is very much like actually fun movies. And he's like, yeah, I think we're going to do Immaculate. And I was like, homie, I don't know if you want to do Immaculate as a fun horror movie?
Patrick Hamilton, who's on our team, he also has the Kill by Kill podcast, and I don't remember if he did it, so hopefully he hears this and correct. He hasn't yet. Please do it, because I want to hear y'all's thoughts on that. Both of those podcasts are great, by the way.
Yes.
You should listen to those.
Our whole trivia team is all podcasts now.
It really is. Ooh. Yeah, I liked it. I went in not knowing anything. That's like a new thing I'm trying, because I over-research.
It's fun.
And I really liked it. I haven't seen First Omen, but I know a lot of people are comparing them.
They're very, very, very similar.
Yeah. First Omen's on Hulu now, because I remember we didn't see it because we wanted to have a nun night and we didn't see it because it wasn't up. And then the next day it was like up on Hulu.
Yeah.
So
well, watch it, and then next week we'll
talk
discuss.
First Omen. But tonight's movie, I don't think is anywhere in the realm of nuns, really.
Nuns or serial killers.
Yes.
And you know what? Even though we're kind of transitioning into June, it's our last Mystic May movie. And I kind of feel like we saved the best for last. I don't know about you.
I think it encapsulated the Mystic May theme very well on all accounts.
It was like the most Mystic movie of all the Mystic movies that we watched.
Have we said it yet?
No.
Oh, well, do you want to do the honors?
Do it.
Okay. We watched Lord of Illusions. It was a great movie, Clive Barker, and I actually hadn't seen it, but I distinctly remember when the trailer came out when you're young, because there's that period of time where trailers come out and you're into horror and you're like, this looks like the scariest thing I've ever seen. So I was really excited to finally watch it.
Yeah, that was a movie I rented from the video store on VHS back in the day, because I remember the box cover saying director's cut. And for some reason, my like preteen, I must have been like 11 or 12, was just like, oh, if it's a director's cut, it must be super cool.
It must be so cool.
And then, like, you know, you kind of learn later why there was a director's cut.
Yep.
And thankfully, because
I keep thinking back to when Steve Beck was talking about he didn't have final cut, he didn't see it. So now whenever I see like director's cut, I just think it's Steve Beck right now.
I know. I love Steve. I want him to have one more like crown and glory moment, like, because he deserves it. He is such a good filmmaker. He's such a great creative. And I don't know if he ever listened to our episode about him and 13 Ghosts, but if you ever listen, Steve, we love you and we believe in you, and we think you should make one more movie. Yeah.
It's got a lot of good things to say. Anyway, I always associate and to this day I always associated this movie as Scott Bakula's in it, and my mom had 3 major crushes ever since I could talk. Tom Selleck's her, like Bruce Campbell, Corey Feldman, like Tom Selleck's it for her. Next in line is Pierce Brosnan. Third was always Scott Bakula. So watching this, I always associate those guys as like my like fake, like very vicarious dads.
Oh God.
When I was younger. And my dad, he knew it. He was like, whatever. He just put up with it. So every time I saw this movie, I always thought of that as my mom's boyfriend.
Aww.
So watching it now, long story short, I was watching it. I'm not afraid to say my age. Maybe I am. Should I say it? I am a woman in her late 30s. And I was watching it, and I thought in the beginning, because in the beginning he has his gun, suspenders on, and he's walking. I thought, he's kind of hot. And then I had to sit back and think, oh my God, I'm at the age where I have the same taste as my mom now. And it really disturbed me.
Yeah, it was the first time, because, I've seen this movie. I think I sat and watched it a lot as a kid, but like as an adult, it's one of those movies I've put on and haven't fully paid attention to until I rewatched for this. And I was sitting there last night and I was like, Scott Bakula's kind of hot.
He's a little hot. His character was kind of whatever, but I like him.
We'll get into that because his character is so. Like, I wish Clive Barker had gotten to do more, because he is, like, Harry D'Amour is, like, the Clive Barker, like, MCU. Like, he was in several books.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was in, my favorite that he was in was called The Great and Secret Show. And basically, he's, like, his version of, like, like
Randall Flagg? Or kind of like how he's in multiple.
Like in my brain, I'm like, he's like a Humphrey Bogart, like a
the character itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like he's like a like this, like, because like Clive Barker's obsessed with film noir, and I love film noir, which probably is because of him. But it's his like film noir detective.
Oh wow. Okay.
And he's in all these books, and he's basically this dude who just like slowly goes from being a PI and gets like sucked into this like occult world. And like it's like if Columbo had gotten like it really is. It's kind of episodic, like where it's like how Columbo had a different case every week. It's like D'Amour had all of these different cases, and he's like, well, now another occult thing is just happening to me, and I just happen to be there.
I'm laughing because I know what you're saying, but I'm really genuinely like I want to know if anybody under the age of 30 or 35 even knows who Columbus.
Okay, but
We are so
to be fair, Ryan Johnson made Columbo cool again.
Columbo's the shit.
Like, he put out what was that show he did with Natasha Lyonne last year? Poker Face?
Poker Face.
Yeah, and that's very, very Columbo. And he talked about Columbo a lot in all of his press stuff.
I didn't know that.
It's really good if you haven't seen it.
Oh,
Anyway,
so
not going to go on a tangent. I swear to God, I'm going to stick to fucking Lord of Illusions. But yeah, Poker Face, great. Columbo, great. It's a lot of the early episodes are shot like giallos. So you're welcome.
There you go. Cheers.
Anyway, but yeah, D'Amour is a great character, and I wish that Clive Barker had gotten to do more with that character in that universe. And like, I was reading a lot of like interviews with Scott Bakula, and they had definitely tried to make more movies.
That's nuts. See, I didn't know that. Are there any movies, other ones that he's in of Clive Barker movies that you know of?
He read the script, he loved it,
yeah,
like instantly. Like I think they offered the role to like Christopher Reeve first.
Oh wow.
And he passed. And then Bakula read it, was like, fuck yeah, I'm down. Like he even like, in like certain books, like there's a point where he gets those tattoos and stuff, like the sigils, and like as he's getting deeper into the occult. And like I think it's even explored in like comic book series. Like it's like
so
like
cool.
He did a lot with that character, and Scott was 100% down. He was immersed.
Oh man.
So yeah, bummer they didn't get to do more.
Yeah.
But this movie is so cool.
Yeah, it's so fun. It's definitely a product of its time, which is why I think I love it so much, because I feel like it still would have been great to watch it at the time when you're younger, but as adults watching it now for the first time in my eyes, it was just a lot of like Windows 94 graphics, but like I wouldn't have wanted it any other way.
Agreed.
There's some creepy parts. There's a lot of Clive Barker in there, that's for sure. A lot of that influence.
And I'm just here for that. Like imagine, like, I mean, I know there was some studio issues where like I think one movie studio had originally financed it, and then they ran out of money, like the studio itself, and then I think UA bought it and they finished it, and I know he had a lot of trouble with them.
Oh shit.
But it's still a pretty big budget like movie for its time. It definitely feels a little bit 90s. But it definitely has that film noir vibe, and then like all the costuming almost like, especially Dorothea, is almost like 20s. It's very interesting. It's very Hollywood glam.
My main note, a lot of my notes ended up being her costumes, but not in the best way possible. It's weird. It's so strange. I didn't understand. I actually wanted to ask you, somebody who is not only a director, but you're a maker, you're a creator of all types. What do you know? Maybe do you have an idea of why some of the choices were, like, for example, when she wears all white at one point, then she wears like a silk dress where you could just see her tears like all over that. I know this is the stupidest thing to ask, but do you think that was intentional?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. Yeah.
I mean, I know that his big influence for this movie was film noir.
Okay.
But I do think film noir is like 40s. And I think some of the costumes are a little like late 20s, early 30s.
It just felt, I don't know. I just felt like they were putting her, and I got that influence, but for some reason I just had trouble with those costumes.
They're a little over the top, but I think they're fun.
Maybe that's
like
why.
I love that white dress and that big hat.
I was like, that has to be a reason, like why she's wearing that in that scene. Is it because it's like she's a graveyard? It's white and she's this ethereal. I don't know.
Did you notice that graveyard? It says Hollywood Forever, but
I was wondering where that was.
We've shot there.
That's okay.
That's
it looked
the
familiar.
Buffy graveyard.
That's the Buffy graveyard.
That's Arma Angeles
Rosdale
Angeles.
We never shot there.
Yes, we did. Oh yes.
No, we did.
No, we have never taken photographs in this cemetery.
We've only shot from the outside, is what you're trying to say. Yes. Now I know.
But yeah, it is the same cemetery that they shot Buffy in.
Oh, okay.
But it's beautiful. I love those shots. I know we've talked about this in other episodes, but I love when movies are shot in LA.
And that's something, the non-spoilers, which as always, we will get into the non-spoilers first, and then we will talk about spoilers after. So you don't have to worry about it.
We'll give you a chance. We'll tell you when the spoilers start. You can pause this episode. You can go watch the movie, I think on HBO Max.
It's Max. Yep,
Max. Mm-hmm. And then come back and listen to the rest and chat with us.
Yay. So yeah, I love that this was in LA, and it made me think of First Power, and I thought, what a great kind of pairing in the month too. They look like they're duo films almost.
It's interesting. I love it. It was such a fun month of mystic movies. I love LA movies. So thank you guys for bearing with my weird eclectic taste in shit movies.
Yours. Thanks for not tuning out when I pull out tarot cards, which if you did, I get it. But I get it. But yeah, I love that a lot of these also take place in LA, and it's kind of funny because it's like, oh, mystical stuff is in LA because we're, woo.
Well,
people.
I mean, I've never lived in another city where there's like, neon sign tarot, like, or like, psychic signs and like half the windows down. It's like
that's fascinating to me.
There's as many psychics in the valley as there are 7-Elevens.
That's insane. It's true. And I don't know that because I've never lived anywhere else but Sonoma when I was a kid. And maybe now there are. I don't know. But I've only lived around Southern California in my adult life. And that perspective is so interesting to me.
So the synopsis for Lord of Illusions is Private Eye Harry D'Amour travels to Los Angeles and meets with a new client, Dorothea Swan. Swan reveals that she and her husband, famed magician Philip Swan, have been targeted by a religious cult experimenting with reincarnation. After Philip dies on stage in the midst of a dangerous trick, D'Amour must struggle to protect Dorothea from the ruthless cult members and their newly reanimated religious leader, Nix. That's the official synopsis that you can read anywhere, so it's not a spoiler, and it's kind of in the trailer. So what did you think of this movie?
I'm actually kind of glad I saw it for the first time in my adult life because I could appreciate it for what it was. I think that there were some creepy moments. There a lot of that weird Clive Barker imagery of like flashes and stuff I think are super creepy, but I also really wish we did this as a slumber party.
I know.
Because I like the reactions that I had to have just like sitting there be like, this is what I want to say to Kay and Ama. This is what I want to see what Kay thinks. I want her to like slap me across the face for this. Like I just want everyone to talk sense into me. But there was just certain moments that I thought played so well because I don't think obviously it wasn't meant to be, laugh out loud popcorn funny movie. Maybe it was, I don't know. But there are some certain aspects of the film that are definitely watching them in 2024 are like, okay, this is a little ridiculous.
And I love that. It's like, I know he loves that Hollywood glamour, and there's just so many of these like over the top, like, reactions.
There's a lot of just sequences of a lot of physical movements in this. Even the fight choreography, everything just that happens is very like,
yes. And I really enjoyed the spectacle of this movie. And, as an adult, I think, as a kid from Maine, like, I don't know if I realized how gay this movie was.
It's very
But, like, I love that it's our last one of May going into June into Pride Month.
Yes.
And we watch, like, the gayest gay movie ever. And I loved it. I loved it so much.
We have a lot of pride of all kind here. So,
yes.
Yeah, that was a great choice going into it. It is very, very gay. And we mean that obviously in the best way you could possibly mean that word.
But yeah, like I really loved the spectacle, and I loved the Clive Barker of it all. And I think that the gore was so fun.
It was gorier than I thought it would be.
Yeah, it's definitely gory.
I didn't think it would be that intense. It wasn't like a splatter fest, but I didn't think that it was going to be a gory movie. But
no, and the gore that's there is really unique and really creative. And like even like the sets and like locations, like I'm just like, I wonder if Clive Barker just like painted these walls himself. Like it looks like his work, it looks like his style. Like you could just see him all over this movie.
Yes. And the guy who played Philip Swan, Kevin J. O'Connor, he looked so familiar.
Oh, because he's in The Mummy.
I haven't seen The Mummy.
Wait a minute, Alyssa. I've been
trying to hide that.
Okay,
fact.
I am not someone who, I am not going to shame you for that, but I guarantee you will absolutely 100% love The Mummy. It's so fun. Anyway, he's a big part of that. He's a character actor. He's around.
I like him.
He's really good. Like him. And like, as someone who I've seen a lot as a character actor in his later career, it's kind of fun to see him in like a sort of leading role as like a little bit of a handsome devil.
I was going to say, I don't know what's wrong with me. I have the weirdest taste in the world because I like these weird weirdos. I love the weird weirdos. And he had a little bit of that Walton Goggins.
He sure did, yeah. And he has like piercing eyes in this movie.
Yes. but just his character choices, just kind of the self-conscious, because it's funny because going into this, I thought, just based on trailers and photos, I thought he was the villain because the way that it's portrayed. Oh, I'll cut that out. I'll save that for later.
Yeah. It's in the trailer. I mean, you can see, well, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, just be safe. Yeah, he I really liked him in this.
Yeah. I thought pretty much everyone was really good in it. And I know I watched a lot of interviews with Clive Barker. Clive Barker did a lot of press for this movie.
Okay.
And he talked about how, like, Femke Janssen, like, he saw her picture in a stack. It was like, that's Dorothea. Like, his idea of Dorothea was she's the most beautiful woman in the world. And that was like, he's like, it has to be her. And yeah, so it was like, it was always her to him. You know, they auditioned other people, but it was always, that was his choice. Like, he's just like, yep, that's her.
That's the actor's dream. Mm-hmm. That's literally the actor's dream. That would never happen today. She's beautiful.
Yeah.
She's gorgeous. And I thought, you know, she was fine. I don't.
Yeah, it wasn't her best performance.
It wasn't her best performance, but you know, she looked great. She fit the role. I think that would obviously what he was looking for. So
yeah, I thought everyone was really fun in this. I definitely think, you know, the performances, there was I think the guy who played Nix, who, you know, is also went on in his later years to do some
Super Troopers.
Super Troopers. Yeah. And I thought he was really good. Mm-hmm. I love the idea of a cult leader that's not charismatic.
I loved that because he has his like big old belly hanging out. Like the first scene is him just be like, he looks dirty and he's like, hey,
it's like, and like,
yeah.
Oh, the whole like cult set is so
good. It's weird.
It's gross and I love it. And like, there's randomly a monkey thing.
Oh yeah, there's a baboon at some point.
I think it's called like a mandrill or something.
It wasn't a baboon?
No.
Oh. That's the important thing to figure out.
I don't know what the monkey is.
That's the topic for the rest of the movie. Yeah, I think for me that's it for initial reactions because everything else I want to say is kind of breaking down into the plot of it. So
yeah, so as of this moment right now, make sure to pause if you don't want any spoilers. Go watch it and come back. Ready? And we're in spoiler land.
Spoiler land. Spoiler land. Where we spoil the stuff. Okay.
All right. So like this movie like starts like in the middle of the action. Like it's like the train has already left the station. Like we are in the middle of this like heist where we see this like van pull up and there's like, you know, people with guns going to this like gross house in the desert. Brandon was sitting there watching it with me and he's like, did I miss something as early? And I was like, no, this is the beginning.
Yeah. And it was 13 years prior to the whole movie.
Yeah.
So they're all in their, you know, early 80s looks.
Yeah, it's kind of a little 70s-ish actually. It's weird.
It felt 70s.
Yeah. And it's like, so they like, you know, you get Swan and Quaid and like there's a couple of women, Jennifer, the one that was named after they didn't really get into Dario, or I don't remember.
I don't remember.
But me either. I know she was named after an Anne Rice character or something. Anyway, moving right on. They're jumping out of their van. They're pulling up to this cult, and you see all these creepy ass people, you know, in their like diapers and dirty clothes.
They're wearing their adult diapers.
Yeah, they're fucking weird. That's the point.
They're very dirty.
They're very dirty, and they got like snakes on them and shit. And they're just like being cult people and desert cult people. That's what they are.
Desert cult people.
And you know, you see them going in, and
I think they're trying to just break out because she's 12 at the time. I guess there's a girl. And she's bound. She's, you know, clearly she's been kind of taken capture. They were using her as a sacrifice, right?
I think it's a little unclear. She's definitely going to be a sacrifice, but I also think it was like bait because Nix, the main villain, our cult leader, was upset that his protege Swan had left the cult, and it was to lure him back.
Oh, I don't know why. I glad you said that it wasn't that clear because I rewound it a couple times and I thought, am I missing something? Yeah. I felt very confused.
No, I think it's interesting because this, you know, as I said, like we said, you know, when we started, this movie has a lot of gay undertones, and it definitely felt like Nix and Swan had something bigger, or because, you know, he's at the end of the movie, he says like, I wanted to be with you at the end of the world. And so I'm like,
I see that as like a transcending just everything, just like literally be like one with each other.
Yes, it's interesting. Yeah. So it's like it was his way, even though he has his little henchman Butterfield, who is my personal favorite character. Like, he's my fashion icon.
I love him.
I bleached my eyebrows once to look like him.
That is because insert photo of Ama's bleached eyebrows.
It was a fucking
I
choice.
did not know. Now that I see this movie a few years ago, it all makes sense. It all makes sense.
You've known me through the bleached eyebrows.
You had your bleached eyebrow era, and it was fascinating. And now I know who to thank for that.
Yeah.
The young Butterfield was played by, I forget the actor's name, but I kept trying to place him, and he was in a Return of the Living Dead 3.
Yeah.
Also, Meatballs 4. I think it's 4 with Corey Feldman. I think.
Yeah, he's a fun looking dude. I love that character. I love him so much. But he's like, I could be Swan for you, and like Nix is so mean to him.
Oh.
But yeah, it's like, him just like Igoring on like Nix, just be like, yes, whatever you want. They're like torturing the girl with the monkey creature.
The undetermined.
Yeah,
and like, short shorts.
Then like these like cults. What do you call it? Defectors.
Like their role within a cult?
They've left the cult. They're coming back. Defector?
Oh, I don't know.
People who've left the cult coming back in.
Yes.
Swan, Quaid, they got guns. They, they like shoot the place up. They go for Nix, and then he puts his fingers in Swan's head.
Yeah.
And he keeps saying he got in my head. And like I've read things online where people have said like, oh, well, he transferred powers to Swan. I don't know if I believe that. I think he literally just showed him, like, Clive Barker has this interesting like nihilism take on the world that he puts in a lot of his books, how people are just like sweat and shit and jelly, and like it's definitely a pattern in a lot of his books. And he's like, so everyone just like starts breaking apart and being literally jelly shit.
When he's seeing people like that's like their
he's like,
interior.
oh, I got in my head. And he flies up into his Texas chainsaw thing on the ceiling, twirling.
That reminded me of like the thing on Jesus Wept, that he's on the twirling of the Hellraiser wept. Thing.
Yes.
I don't know what that is. Yeah, it's I could actually see that now, because I thought I again, it was unclear until later in the movie I realized, oh, maybe he did transfer his powers. But now that you say that, I could see that as almost him trying to open up his third eye, because I know there's a lot of that, like there's ways to open up your third eye so you can access your
and so like the group is failing at killing Swan, and then the group is failing at killing Nix.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's like, boom, and he's shot. And it was like the little girl, and she's like, yeah, motherfucker.
It's like, I took the gun.
Yeah. And so then they bind him with like this like Iron Maiden face thing, which was so cool.
That was so cool. I was not expecting that, and that was gross. I actually had to kind of look away for a second when they were doing that. Ooh,
and like his blood makes the screws go in. I'm like, this is so cool. And like it is like the cult people like don't even like go to his aid. They're just like crying in other rooms. Like, oh no.
They reminded me of a Greek chorus.
Yeah,
they're in the background like a Greek chorus, just kind of reacting to everything. And because they were trying to bind his magic, right?
Yes.
So that he couldn't do magic anymore. I feel like I talk about anuses a lot on this podcast, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that later.
Some pineal gland, or
it's the pineal gland. I know a lot about the pineal gland. My third eye is a little muddled right now.
I've seen From Beyond. That's all I need to know.
We've seen From Beyond, yeah. The little, I always picture that's what it looks like if it actually comes out. That's what it looks like. But yeah, I do see those cult members as a Greek chorus of sorts, and I think it's really cool because it's so theatrical. And it's just,
that's so interesting.
It's so flamboyant, and I don't mean that in a stereotypical way, but it's just a very flamboyant presentation.
No, like
everything.
we stand Clive Barker on this podcast.
Listen,
like,
I worked at Clive Barker's house. I did a short. You can find it on YouTube. I'm not going to tell you the link, but you can find it. And it was the best experience of my life. I've seen his painting room firsthand. I've seen his little dungeons firsthand. When you see that shit and then you watch the movies, I think Clive Barker opened up my third eye just being there, because that shit is just surreal. It's surreal. Oh my gosh, that man.
I discovered him very young, and like I read most of his books by the time I was like, midway through high school.
Yeah.
He's one of the reasons why I'm a horror fan.
He's amazing.
And I got to meet him a few years ago, and I had done a photo shoot of a guy with as Pinhead, but like sexy with just like his dick in the box. And I got to give it to Clive Barker, and he's like, "Would you sign it for me?" And I'm like,
"Oh my god, I would have cried." I was love just like, that man.
Like, I talked to him for a minute, and he was so cool. And, like,
he might be the most creative person I've ever just heard of or known in my life, because I haven't met him. I didn't get to meet him, but I've never met a man. But we were told, I think you were told this too by somebody that we know who has worked for him. He literally just doesn't sleep. He doesn't rest. His brain doesn't rest. If he's not writing, he's painting. And it's just, you could see that in his works too. Like, and they try, it's just so hard to capture on film, I feel like, by somebody else, because it's just such his vision. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. And that's the thing. It's like, I don't know. When it's so auteur, his movies or any, even like adaptations of his writings, it's hard to put to remake it or to put another person putting their stamp on it, because it's like either you get it or you don't. And I honestly think if you're gonna get it, you got to be really, really I don't know the word.
No, exactly.
Like it's like I try every few years to get someone to let me to direct either like The Last Will and Testament of Jacqueline S. or Cold Heart Canyon. Like, I'm just like, let me at it, motherfuckers.
I would love to see your interpretation of Clive Barker, because I feel like that would just, like, I'd be afraid of you for a while. Like, I'd be like, I didn't know this was in Ama's mind.
Oh, there's some shit in here. Ooh. Okay, but sorry, off on a tangent. So then, then they bind him, and then we fast forward 13 years in the future, and we're introduced to Harry D'Amour in his, like, this goes, like, full film noir. He's in his, like, New York apartment with his gun on and his wife beater.
It's all, like, hoarders. Like, he lives in a hoarders because he never cleans up, and he has his alcohol.
He's drinking.
Stubble.
Yeah. And he's just come off an exorcism case that's stuck in his brain, and so he's already opened the occult. And they're just like, "I got a case for you, D'Amour."
Literally, that guy comes in, he's like, "Yo, D'Amour, I got a case for you." It's just like that. Like, I want to see a cartoon of this, like an animated series.
It's almost like a Constantine sort of character, It's interesting.
I also love that he has my my alter ego's last name, my burlesque.
Yes.
My burlesque.
I actually kind of thought it was because of this until I realized you hadn't seen it.
Maybe I should tell people it is.
Just change the
Ginger D'Amour. It's because of Scott Bakula.
But yeah, they're like, "You gotta go to California. We got a case. We got a case. And it pays real well. You just gotta catch this adulterer."
The pay is quite good.
and then he's like, "Well, what if I don't catch him?" And he's like, "Well, at least you'll get a tan." So you're like, all right, he's going out here for like a normal case, not the cold case. He's just gonna stumble into that later.
And they establish LA in the most 90s LA stereotype you could. It was so sexy. They just have the B-rolls, the panning shots of the palm trees. You got to get the palm trees in there, the views from the hills with that sweet sexy sax that I picture Tim Capello playing when they're doing it.
But then they like go straight to like, a shitty motel that looks like it's in the valley or like on the edge of Hollywood.
It checks out.
And it's like this dude who looks like Deuce Bigelow, like hanging out with some sex workers.
I feel like your dream is seeing that sax intro, but when you get to Hollywood and you move here for the first time, you see that motel with that sleazy Deuce Bigelow and the two hookers with their boobs, just kind of like, hey.
And like that pink wig. Oh my god. Oh, I live near Sepulveda Boulevard. This is just the life that I lead.
Oh no.
But so like he's following him and he like, he's on the move, and he goes to his psychic for some reason. Like he leaves his two ladies of the evening.
Yeah, he just leaves real fast.
Yeah.
Did he trust them? Because if they could very well be like, okay, you do leave. We'll take care of your place for you. I would have done that.
Run.
I would have done that.
He follows him to his psychic, and then like, the dude comes running back out, and so he says, just, what did he see?
Yeah, and it turns out that it was what was his name? Quaid. Quaid was the guy with the afro in the first scene. Yes, this is the main question, and I think what I was trying to understand, which might be very, very stupid to ask after watching this whole thing, was it just like a magic cult?
Yes.
Just like all these people they wanted these powers, or they had it? And
no,
they, like,
I think that that Nix was teaching them these
Got
powers.
it. Okay, that makes so much sense then. So, of course he was a psychic then.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that makes sense.
Like, I think that he was gifting certain people powers.
Okay.
Or teaching them how to use what they already had,
I
you know.
join that cult. I probably would have.
But now he's like gone full like Hollywood psychic with like piercings and moo-moos.
And his like neon sign. God,
Yeah.
I love that sign.
And you know, he's like full of knives and
then out of nowhere, freaking like Hills Have Eyes runs out. Like,
well, it's crazy. It's like a punk skinhead with filed teeth who has like this like, I don't know, it's like Butterfield, the henchman of Nix's henchman. So Butterfield's henchman, I want to say they gave him a name like in the credits, like something like Willis or something.
But he's very Mad Max. I don't know. It just felt very
like,
Mad Max.
His energy is crazy. Yeah. Like he's just like on 10. Like,
like he took PCP.
Yes,
like,
yes,
he took PCP.
He's got this kind of punk skinhead vibe. He's definitely got some symbols on him that are a little hateful.
And he seems a little invincible at this point.
Yes, he's definitely got some kind of power for sure.
Yes.
And he's like attacking, you know, Damore, and then he like shoves him out a freaking window. And you know, then it's like just Butterfield shows up and he's got this glow up. He's got these new lame pants.
Oh, but before this, doesn't Bakula, I should call him by his character name, Damore, he walks in, but he finds Quaid. I was like,
yeah, he's all stabbed up.
He's all stabbied up with the swords everywhere.
With the tarot cards in front of him.
And which is interesting because when you look at the tarot cards, and I love that they don't, if I remember correctly, they don't really have them necessarily in frame. Like, they don't focus on the tarot cards.
You see them all at once.
You see them all at once, but it's not like a main focus of like they're constantly shooting. Because I just saw off to the side, there was a 3 of swords. And then I know that they show the 10 of swords, but I saw like, I was trying to see what cards he pulled. I was like,
Yeah, you can see like, if you pause it, you can see his whole layout. And I think the Rue Morgue channel did a really good job. They like pulled his cards and showed what they read. Like, they're like, this is what he did. And these are the cards that were there, what they mean.
I missed that. I gotta see that because I always thought it was the 3 of swords and the 10 of swords.
Yeah, so, it was very like, it was like the magician was in the middle and the tower was there, and it was like, you know, like whoever did them knew what they were doing, you know, for the set deck.
We'll link that video so y'all can see it because that's
like,
really cool.
I saw it in my research. I was like, Alyssa, why didn't we fucking think of this?
Oh my god,
it's so good. But yeah, so and then he's just like, you know, Butterfield says some stuff and then he slinks away. And he looks good now. He went from like kind of Oompa Loompa-ish in the beginning. And now he's got a nice haircut. He's got those eyes under control. He's got some new
very
duds.
90s party monster.
Very
party monster.
I love
vibes.
him so much. I stand Butterfield. He's going to
be on our board.
He's on our vision board.
It's just
I love him.
Kyle Gallner, Steve Beck, and then we have Butterfield.
He is my boy. I love him so much.
Oh man.
But then like, you know, he slinks away and it's just Damore and Quaid, and this is kind of where you get the exposition that brings him into the case. I guess into our main story, which is like, I'm not afraid to die. Let me see your line.
Let me see your line.
You walk in the dark shadows of blah blah blah.
Yeah, so then you have to think, ooh, Damore is dark. He's got a darkness to him.
Yeah, and he's just like, something is coming. And you know, he like tells
and then
him
sorry, I was gonna say, then he brings out in West Side Story, something's coming. Like in the streets.
That'd be so great.
Anyway.
But yeah, so then, you know, we go from that into now Swan's guy Valentin, who
I thought was Walton Goggins. He's just on our mind this podcast, but I genuinely thought it was, and then I realized he'd be too old at that point. Yeah, no. But he had those vibes.
It's interesting because to me, I don't know if I definitely didn't pick up on this as when I was a kid. I was like, oh, this is just his like assistant. Yeah. But it kind of feels like he's like in a relationship with him in some way.
That's what I thought too, because I didn't know who he was for a while. And it's his assistant, but he is so in tune with him. Like,
and he knows everything.
He knows everything. So he could be kind of that familiar sort of Igor character to him, or
that's a little henchman-y, but
she also says, I didn't marry him for love.
Yeah. So I mean, I definitely think we need to try to like unpack the relationships in Swan's life, because they're complicated.
Yes.
But he contacts D'Amour. It was just like, we want to meet. And then we get our sprawling I know, right? Like, why a graveyard?
I mean, at least it was daytime.
Yeah.
Because if it was nighttime, that'd just be too obvious.
It was beautiful. But yeah, and then like...
Yeah, they meet in the cemetery. She's wearing all white. Big old white getup.
I know you're saying you don't like her outfit, but I kind of love it. It's so over the top.
It's not that I don't like it. I think I just didn't get it. I don't know. It's very over the top, but I just didn't get it.
I mean, there's an element of fantasy to this movie. But yeah, so she, like, I feel like she's already, like, previously we didn't mention this, but like she sees his picture in the newspaper at Quaid's death. And like, I feel like she's already thirsty for him, like, as she meets him for the first time.
I didn't realize that she was supposed to be 24 or something around there. Because, I mean, it's established that, well, we can get to there. But, yeah, I thought she was my age. I thought she was late 30s, but I guess she was early 20s.
No, I mean, and she was young when she would play the role. Yeah. But, like, yeah, she's just like, I didn't marry Swan for love.
Wink, wink.
Yeah, as she's, like, making eyes at D'Amour, and you're just like, all right, girl, we get it. I
would too, to be honest. If D'Amour was right in front of me, I'd be like, I didn't marry her for money, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but so she was like, you've got to see him do magic.
At the Pantages. At the famous Pantages.
And so, yeah, so then she takes him to this giant magic show, very like David Copperfield vibes. And, you know, it's Swan's big opening night of his new show.
Yes.
And, you know, of course, she's wearing another 20s dress with her tits out. It's great.
And it's at the Pantages, which is a very famous theater in LA for a lot of touring shows go through. Is
that what it looks like on the inside? Is that
yes,
actually...
that is the Pantages.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And I love when they break out in the show and they have all the dancers going on, because I thought, this is Showgirls.
Yes.
This is what would happen if Showgirls, if Goddess was actually Swan's show.
It's very, yeah, it's like if Clive Barker directed Showgirls. Your face! Oh my god.
Can Clive Barker do that?
That would have been great.
I gotta stop myself because that's a whole other conversation. I'm gonna...
Yes. But yeah, so they're like at this, you know, this giant show. Is very, very like, I remember watching David Copperfield specials with my mom on TV when I was a kid, and it's got those vibes.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's doing his new illusion.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, he comes out and he's like doing like floating shit, and like his backstage workers are like, how does he do this?
It's like,
and
magic.
Yeah. And then he's like, you know, all of a sudden they're just like, you are on the brink of a miracle. And we see like a skeleton in like a coffin floating above the audience.
Like Phantom of the Opera chandelier style, which I have seen Phantom of the Opera there, and the chandelier goes out the same exact way.
That's awesome.
Anyway.
And it like fills with like red sand, and he bursts out and is like, I'm Swan. And does he like
so good.
Do you like my acting?
It's perfect.
I like that he like gets down to do his like new illusion, which is like, you know, swords above him dropping as he's like trying to unlock the locks.
He's locked.
He's bound.
Looks like he's bound on a pentacle, but I don't know if it was supposed to be or not.
I think so. Yeah. And you know, it's a little bondagey. It's kind of great.
It is. I always get so nervous in real life. I can't watch magic shit like that because I always get so scared, and it's because of this scene probably now that I know why I can't watch real life magic, because of this scene. It makes me so nervous.
So yeah, now then like he's on this thing and it's spinning and the swords are spinning and dropping, and he's like, whew, I got out of one, I got out of two, and
kinda
then like
expect what's gonna happen. You kind of feel it.
And then all of a sudden he doesn't get out of one, and like all these swords are hitting him, and like his dancers are like very dramatic, like, oh.
But yeah, they're like literally dancing through him dying, because they know one of them is reacting like he knows something's up, but nobody's stopping it. They're just like, oh no. But like, he's clearly, this is not part of the act.
Yeah, like they've had to have rehearsed it.
And like the people in the back, like they went on a smoke break. Like they're just not back like at stage.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I just think it's funny. But the final image, I had to ask, are those 10 swords? Because the card that came out was the 10 of swords, right? So I was like, on the nose.
It's kind of cool though.
It's really cool.
I love the imagery.
Really freaking cool.
Yeah, like then like, you know, they drop the curtain after he's dead.
I know, they play out that whole scene.
Like nobody on his stage manager wasn't like, oh fuck, let's help him. Let's drop this curtain now and get him out before these swords kill
And Dorothea could have even screamed to run on stage. If that were my husband, I would run on stage and be like, what the fuck? Like, I would just have an attack.
Before it starts, he asks her, have you seen this one? She's like, no, it's new. So maybe she thought it was part of it.
Because Damore's like, is this supposed to, have you seen this before? Or is this supposed to happen? She's like, no, nothing like this. Like, something like that. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, so then, and then he's like, sees like a spark underneath and gets in the machine to under the theater stage, and I'm just like, who the fuck climbs in a machine that just killed somebody? He's like, I'm just gonna go investigate inside this theater stage thing.
Yeah, and it's the underground of the theater, and a lot of those big theaters, they have like a basement area where a lot of the costumes are kept, like the rooms where they make the costumes, clean the costumes, and I'm pretty sure that's where they were.
Yeah,
was that like underneath backstage?
And lo and behold, Butterfield is there.
He's just there with his lizard, like Mad Max
guy. And he's just like, who killed Swan? He's like, you did?
He's like, I thought it was you, bro.
Yeah. Then they fight, and the guy, the lizard Mad Max guy, gets full of the sand that was in the skeleton.
Impaled on some set piece. I was like, that's a dangerous set piece.
It was kind of cool though.
It was really cool.
I love that his blood turned into sand.
Yeah, I like the red sand. Oh, that was so cool.
So then Damore starts digging more as PIs do, and he ends up in the magic castle with this great magic moment song.
If you don't, oh my god, it was so, everything's on the nose, and I love it. And if you don't know the Magic Castle, it's a very famous venue in Hollywood. It's literally like the Magic Castle, the magic venue of magicians.
Yeah. And I don't know if the inside footage is really shot there.
Yes.
It is?
I mean, from what I can remember when I've been there, it looks like it is.
I've never actually been.
The theater that he's in at one point, that little theater, I saw a hand magic trick there before. So I know that theater was
magic.
So I'm pretty sure a lot of these locations were the actual locations.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought you weren't allowed to shoot at the Magic Castle.
I thought not either. So I'm wondering if that's a new rule, or maybe because of it was Clive Barker and it was like an established property. That's something to ask, because I know some people who work there, and I think that would be really fascinating to hear how that happened.
I know. I'm very curious.
Yeah.
And so, then he's doing his PI stuff at the Magic Castle.
It's like a table of magicians.
Yeah, and he gets himself invited to the cool kid magic room with all these magicians talking, and he starts he's very obviously asking questions. He's like, tell me about Swan. And they're just like, we don't mess with Swan because he's into dark shit.
There's the one, he has a very stereotypical magician, we don't talk about Swan. And I forget, it's one of those character actors where you always forget his real name, but he's in everything.
The guy that was in Ghost.
Yes. I always think about him in Ghost.
He's
the
Subway
guy in the
Ghost.
Subway.
Yeah.
It's
he's just we don't talk about Swan.
And then they find out he's the PI or something, and he's
they're he's a journalist, don't you know?
He's
and he's I'm not a journalist.
Yeah. And he's and you're from Brooklyn, and the guy's like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, he's
go off.
Or he's what's that accent? Brooklyn? He's like, hey, go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself.
I guess he's walking out the door. It's great. It's such a good scene. I love it.
And then the guy that wants to help him, what was his name?
Johnny
something. The magician who actually is like, hey, Damore, he's whispering, come over here, I got information for you. And I love how to give him his card, he actually does a real magic trick. He's like, here's my information.
Yes.
Here's my information.
Well, there's so many of those sleight of hand tricks. When he meets Valentin, he does the rose in his sleeve.
Yeah.
So much of that stuff in this movie is very magic centric.
Yeah.
And so then they're at this club or whatever. They're at this club. They're at the Magic Castle, and
it is a club.
No one wants to help him, and he sneaks back in later.
I flipped this over because I wanted to see where we were in the notes, and I just see Dorothea's easy.
Oh yeah, in my notes I was my notes are so ridiculous.
They're the best.
Oh, we skipped Chris Angel doing the stage show that.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that.
I gotta see this. I haven't seen it, but in my research, Chris Angel, the edgelord of magicians, he does a Lord of Illusions inspired, I think he does the sword thing in his live show.
So cool.
And it says it's in season 1 episode 7, so if someone wants to go watch Mind Freak.
What is it on? Mind Freak? Because I
Mind
want to
Freak.
watch it. Do you know what it's streaming on?
I do not know, but
we'll find it. We'll put it in because that sounds amazing.
Yeah, I wanted to see it, but no time today. Death of a Skinhead. Oh yeah, we're gonna someday upload all of our notes, the notes that I write for our production meetings or for our episode production. We're gonna put them on our Patreon someday because I'm a little funny.
It's just and the funny thing is, I think we all have these same thoughts when we're watching these separately, and that's what makes it so amazing.
I think I'm just a little bit funny. No, they're just like silly ways to bring it up, like Dorothea is easy.
To be fair, if the theory you have is correct, and maybe Swan is not, a straight man, maybe if he is a gay man, and he's not into that sexually, then maybe she is legitimately, rightfully so thirsty.
Well, like, I mean, they definitely, she keeps saying we didn't marry for love. Yeah. And,
but she clearly cares for him. She loves him. They both love each other. But right.
And, but he says, like, you F the woman I love. So I think he loves her, but that's a little problemamotic when you get to the end.
He could be pan, Yeah. He probably likes it all. He loves it all.
But like, so, and like Damore has tried to reach out to her, and Valentin is like, nope, she doesn't want to talk to you, blah, 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 blah. And then, like, he shows up at the house, at the mansion. I was like, I have information because, did we skip the fucking part? I'm like so bad at this today. ADHD.
These movies, though, this month has been all over the place. These movies have been just like that shit where you...
And like, so like him and like Johnny Woo or whatever his name is, they break into the magic castle to try to find files on Nix.
Never happened.
And, yeah.
But I feel like those would be the traps if it didn't.
Yeah, and then they see like a sigil and he's like, this was tattooed on the skinhead guy's face, and they push it and like the thing opens and he gets the files, and then like a holograph appears.
Like some weird alien. It was just like what the fuck? Like, where did that come from?
And like he goes to like shoot it and he's just like put his gun through it and he's like, it's a hologram.
I'm sorry, but I wish they actually invented those for homes, because if some dude somebody tried to break into my place and all of a sudden this hologram of this giant alien like Cyclops monster
like
comes out, if I was a breaker, what was that? My brain is dead. If I broke into a house and I saw that, I would piss my pants. I would leave my pants at that house and I would run out naked because I'd be so fucking terrified.
Oh my God. Yes. But yeah, he like, they get the files and he goes to Dorothea and like, he's just like, where is she? And Valentin's like, she doesn't want to see you. But then she does.
But does she?
Yeah. And then,
you get your obligatory, we don't have chemistry, but we're randomly just going to start like having that slow motion 90s sex.
Yeah.
That I thought sex was.
Like, that's the thing. Like, I'm just like, has anyone ever sat in someone's lap like that and banged? Because like,
I think I mentioned this. I don't know if I mentioned this on an episode or not, but I thought sex was in The Lost Boys when they have the montage of them and it's very slow motion. Thou shalt not. Blah, blah. I thought that was sex. And this scene reminded me of why I thought sex was slow motion kissing and just touching like down just an arm. Because every 90s movie has that slow motion like...
But yeah, like whenever there's a movie where there's just like a girl like sitting in a guy's lap like that, I'm just like, yes! You got to have a real large... Sorry, Kate.
Fill in the blank because I don't know what you're about to say.
I'm not going to say... There's got to be some parts that are longer to fit into things in that position.
I think...
You're going to cut this anyway. It's fine.
Am I?
I don't know. I hope you don't, because I think inquiring minds want to know...
Yeah, I know. Do you want to...
How you bang like Lord of Illusions.
How do you bang the Lord of Illusions?
Like, Damore is packing heat. He's got to be.
He has to be. It's not his gun in his pocket.
But yeah, she finally like spills all of her information of like, oh, well, when I was a kid, I shot Nix, and
So she was the girl.
She's a little girl from the beginning that Swan saved.
So, and also, that's another thing to support the theory of Swan is that she was supposed to be 12. Swan was like 20 something then, right?
So it's like it's a strange thing. Like, did he adopt her? Like, I don't know what's going on in this relationship. Right. I just know he's given Valentin more information than he's given his wife, who was there that day.
Yeah.
Which, they seem like they might be lovers.
Maybe they're all lovers.
I do too.
I don't think she would be though, because she's thirsty as fuck. But maybe they just
she's not getting
maybe
it.
They're just open.
Yeah, I mean,
good for them.
Good for them. They did.
Good
Dorothea, girl, get what you get.
Get it. Be ahead of the times, girl.
Yes.
Be ahead of the times.
But it definitely seemed like there was some sort of relationships with no boundaries.
Yeah. Would you ever have a three-way with them?
What?
Would you ever have a three-way with Swan and what's his name?
Valentin,
sorry.
No, that would be like they're both so stuffy and boring.
No.
Like,
I don't want to think about it. Actually, that was a silly question.
I feel like that's
Marry, fuck, kill. Valentin, Swan, or Dorothea.
Oh. Marry Swan, because at least you know he's got your back.
Yes, and he's got money.
Yes.
He can support you in many ways.
Yes. God knows I need it.
I would fuck Famke Jensen, clearly.
Yes.
Yes.
And Valentin is obviously fodder.
I mean, he may or may not die. This is spoiler section.
Yes.
He already fucking dies. So
he dies for Swan.
He does.
He has like his whole life is like in service to this man.
It's like
so
he's his familiar, his human familiar.
yes, I truly think that they may have been in love.
They might have.
But yeah, so like, and also after they make love, this like weird bad CGI like hologram, like it's not a hologram. It's like I think it's like something Swan is sent.
It's very Lawnmower Man.
Yes.
It's very like I love that. I would rather see that CGI in today's world than see today's CGI. To be perfectly honest, it's that very geometrical Windows. It's a Windows graphic. But
it's like it like goes from the room all the way to Swan's coffin, and you're just like, and like my head is like, is this Swan being like, I'm not dead, guys, or what is this?
Like, is it Nyx? Is it Swan?
I don't know. I am totally curious. I don't understand that. So if somebody watching this understands it, tell us, fill us in a little.
I was just very fixated on what it looked like. I didn't beyond that.
And she's like, he goes to the coffin and he like opens it, and Valentin's like, don't you dare disturb his body, and he's like, well, it's not him, and he like rips off the fake jaw, and
that's a really good fake. I'm sorry if you hear my dog drinking, by the way. Got some ASMR drinking noises. That's actually Ama. I'm sorry she decided to drink out of the dog bowl.
Yeah.
Because you're a dog.
I'm so thirsty. But yeah, like I thought that was like very silly and fun, and then they have like, they're like, let Swan be dead, and they go to his funeral, and it's fancy, and
because Dorothea didn't know, right? She genuinely didn't know, but Valentin, so he knew, and he's like, we just didn't want to, upset you, or what was it? It was
and like he goes to the funeral and he sees Swan and he's like his fake mustache and shit. And I'm dying. This dude is such a narcissist. He's got to go to his own funeral. Like, this is a life or death situation. Like, he's faked his death to like, try to save like his family, keep Nyx from coming back, but he's got to go to his own funeral.
And a tiny, skinny little mustache is like going to be all he needs. It's like, I've got the right disguise: a hat, a mustache, and some shorts.
Yes.
Wait, he's wearing shorts, right? No, he's wearing like just like loungewear or something. It's like
he's very, very basic.
This illusionist would never be caught dead in loungewear.
Yes. He's like so chill, but like Damore chases him and they end up in this like warehouse type thing. And he's like holding a car over his head.
So cool
with his magic.
He's like, okay, I'll rip off. Because what does he say? He's like, you can be the most prolific. Like, what did he say? Because he's like, because he doesn't want to be known because he doesn't want Nyx to find him. But he said if he can help him find Nyx, wasn't it like, how does that go about again? Where he finally comes back.
All I know is like they're fighting about Dorothea. He's like, you fucked the woman I love. And it's like, well, don't play dead, bro.
Yeah, that's what happens when you
gotta let her know.
Yeah.
And then like, he rips off the mustache and they devise their plan to get Nyx.
I just love that. It's not even a full-on mustache handlebar. It's like literally just the tiniest little sliver. It's
like that was his disguise.
I'm Swan now.
Oh my god, it's so ridiculous.
So he shows up and then she sees him and she's drinking because he's alive now, and you got to have your drink because the world doesn't make sense.
And like while Damore and Swan are having their like whatever situation that is, it's an awkward fucking road trip they're about to go on. And like Butterfield decided to go after Dorothea. And he kidnaps her and Valentin.
They want to know where Nyx is buried so they can bring him back.
Yes. And
This is my favorite note of all, by the way, because they go to the site where it all went down in the beginning, right? That's where they go? Okay, so that's where he's buried. And I gotta say, this cult, man, I don't know what anything has to do with anything that they do, but I love that all of a sudden they're just shaving their heads.
Well, I love, you know what? I did not remember the scene of all of them getting like the letter that just says homecoming.
See, I must have missed that.
I don't remember that scene ever. I don't know why, but it's like they all of a sudden you see each cult member like killing their families and then.
Wait, did I miss that entire scene?
I guess, because you know what, I honestly, I don't know, there's different cuts of this movie, but it's the first time I remember ever seeing this. I really think I've seen the director's cut before. Anyway, there's like all of a sudden, like each cult member, they show them like they've killed their family at the breakfast table.
Wait, is this I'm sorry, is this on Max? Is this the one on Max? Because this is the one I watch and I do not remember any of this.
I don't remember where I watched it. I want to say it might have even been a Blu-ray we had at the house.
I'll look back because maybe that was like an extended cut.
Yeah, and it's like, so they show, it's almost kind of like 1950s looking, like, you know, the Chris Kattan looking guy from the beginning is like a postman now, and like he's wearing his postal outfit but killing his family. Yes, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Glasses, is that who you're talking about?
Yes. And then, like, you see the guy that had all the snakes all over him. Like, he's broken into the zoo and stolen snakes. And there's, like, all these, like, zoo ranger people down on the ground.
This was not... I don't think I spaced out for this much.
Okay.
Because sometimes I space out, but
yeah, it's like all of these people have killed their families. They're all headed back to the desert. And it's like you see the guy who's, like, stolen all the snakes. And, like, he's got snakes on him. And his backseat is just, like, full.
That makes so much more sense why they would just suddenly be there. Because from what I understand, maybe I was spacing out. I hope I wasn't, because I feel like I would have remembered that. They just go there and all of a sudden you see them in the cult and they're just like shaving their hair like frantically. I'm like, were they there the whole time?
No, there's like, and it's seriously like, I watched this. I was like, I've seen this movie a million times, but I don't remember this scene. But
I thought they lived there. So that's
why.
No,
they all head back and they all are like hugging each other and then they start shaving their heads. But yeah, so like the cult is back in town. They're doing their thing.
The cult is back in town. The cult is back in town.
Yes. And like Valentin is digging a hole for Butterfield to find because he's the only person who knows where Swan buried the body.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's doing that. Dorothea's trying to escape. The cult is getting ready. And, you know, I just assume that, you know, Swan and D'Amour are just on their weird road trip, you know.
It turns into a road trip comedy.
It really does. It gets weird.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's kind of strange because then like it feels sort of like Swan is like a coward in a way, but he's definitely not expressed being a coward previously.
Well, it's kind of like he reverts back to like the beginning Swan.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Like he's scared of Nix.
Yeah. Now that he knows he's alive again, he's just that. Yeah.
Because they get there and like the body's already gone. They get to the shack and he's just like, oh, from the sound of it, he's alive again. And like the whole series of like the sequence of him like becoming alive again is so crazy. It's like
so cool.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, because Butterfield has him, right? And then Dorothea, I forget, they're all in different places, but I just know that
they have her tied back up again, like
coming back, like each piece that comes off, he comes back kind of,
and like the effects is so cool.
It's really cool. It's really
like I'm just like watching that, I'm like, how did they do that? It's slowly like you know the skin becomes a normal color again from like, you know, rotting,
but he's still it almost looks like that's his skin, like tattoos, but those are the markings from the thing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
And but now he's got like the third eye and it's like showing
the butthole.
Yeah, the butthole eye.
That was very, very, very like that couldn't have been more of a butthole. I'm sorry. But I feel like if your third eye was opening, it would have that squishy little starfish butthole. It was a starfish and it was spasming, like taking a shit. That little poop. The little poop pineal gland was poking out.
It sure was. It was alive and well.
It was.
You know, I really still don't understand why they cut off all their hair, like what that offering was.
Quite honestly, I don't understand anything from here on out.
Oh,
so
okay.
when we're talking about this, we're probably just skipping around the entire scene because I don't know what the fuck was what.
I'm trying.
I don't know what the fuck was what.
And like then, you know, they put the robe back on him.
So then he's like whole again.
He's whole again, and he like walks into his room and he's just like, suffer for me, motherfuckers.
And he's just like what I don't remember, Tony, no doubt, like Jordan Peele backhand, like in Ghostwatch, he does that to Butterfield.
He's so mean to Butterfield.
He literally just like backhands
Like the
him.
dude like helped him reanimate, and he's just like, "F you, where's Swan?
He wants
Where's Swan?
Where's Swan?
And then he like looks at like Dorothea. He's like, "Who are you?"
He's like, I remember you.
"Yeah." It took him a minute. I'm like, for someone who's like, supposed to be on another plane, he's a little slow.
Yeah, he's getting there. He's just woken up. He's got to catch up.
He needs his coffee.
He needs his coffee for the day.
But yeah, like, and then he's like, suffer for me, and they all dropped their knees on glass. And
this is when shit gets real Greek chorus. Like,
yes.
this is how I imagine the end of Goddess, of Clive Barker's Goddess ends.
Yes,
is when they're dancing, but he's like having them sink into like they turn into what, like plaster or something.
It's crazy because like we get to this finale moment where they're all in this room together, and he's already attacked Swan. He's broken Swan's heart.
Literally.
Oh, that's actually kind of sad.
It was really sad.
I wanted to be with you in the end.
I know, it was actually
in the
really
dark.
sad.
When he does that, and then he's just like, "Do you guys want to see a magic trick?" I think they think that he's gonna the sky is opening above them. I think they think he's gonna sacrifice Dorothea now, like how he tried to a million years ago.
Oh yeah, because he was floating with her.
And they're like, "Ah!" And then like it starts raining on them, and they're all like into it because they think it's a miracle. But then they start sinking into the ground, getting stuck there, and it is very Greek chorus.
They're doing modern dance. Doing modern dance.
I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, it's great. It's
and then
wonderful.
It's like
they don't realize they're dying. They're like, please, 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 don't.
And then it's just like him floating with Dorothea,
chilling out.
Yeah, Swan at this point is not coherent.
Oh yeah, because he does the brain thing just to not Swan, sorry,
to Damore.
God,
yeah,
there's so much happening in this
there's
finale.
So much happening. Yeah, so Swan's out of commission because he's got a broken heart.
Yeah, he's done.
Yeah,
at the moment.
We think he's done.
Yeah,
and then Damore gets the fingers in the head, so he's seeing Dorothea as shit and he's freaking out.
He's seeing her as a jelly monster,
like, gonna be like dropped into this pit to hell, and then he goes Damore goes to Swan and he's just like, levitate me, like you did the car. Which I'm like, why do you have to levitate him to like push him into a pit? But he does. Theatrics pushes him into the pit to hell after I think he's been shot again.
Yeah, he goes down a couple times.
Yeah,
when you think it's over, it's not over like 5 times.
Yeah, and then
he comes back. Yeah, and then. Honestly, I don't remember. It was such a clusterfuck. I don't fucking remember.
Well, yeah, they shoot him. He gets back up. They push him into the pit, and he's like,
"There's a siren. Usually, we cut the shit out, but you know what? It works.
It's that kind of day.
It works."
But yeah, so Damore has pushed Nix into the pit of hell, and you see him like his body burning in the bottom.
Yeah,
and
then he turned into that weird like.
He did that first. He did that first. We're jumping all around here, but that was so cool. I don't know how they did it. It's amazing.
That effect was amazing. Yeah. The seaweed, like you said, seaweed. You wrote seaweed, and that's what I thought too. Like,
did I?
He turns himself into seaweed or something.
And he has that.
Just read that.
Like he has such a cool line there because they're like, "What are you?" He's like, "I was a man who wanted to be a god and changed his mind." It's like, what a quitter, man. Don't quit.
And then the line that Swan always said was, flesh is just, what did she say? Oh my God. Flesh is just oh my God, what was it? I thought it was pleasure. I thought she said pleasure, but at the end she repeats it and it's flesh. Flesh is a trap.
Yeah.
Flesh is a trap. Magic is the freedom. Magic is free.
Yeah.
I love that. I love this dialogue.
There's like one last illusion.
Yeah.
Nix has the best lines. He has another one too where he was just like, I was born to murder the world. And I was like, fuck yeah, man. I would go to your metal show.
You meet up with Thanos, dude. You and Thanos talk it out.
Right?
Because sometimes.
But yeah, Nix dies. They wander in the desert, kind of like a... what is that movie?
For A Dusk Till Dawn? Oh, wait.
No.
Talking about after the titty twister?
Like The Beyond.
Oh,
do you remember? Have you seen that Fulci movie?
I've seen it. I just don't remember.
It's kind of looks like that where they're just like looking off and walking off into the desert.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of Italian movies kind of have that end.
Yes.
But I don't know. It was cool. I don't know if I fully understand. Like, I don't know what Nick's motivations were other than, pure nihilism.
Our description of trying to get through the last 10 minutes, I think, is the opinion of the movie on a whole. It's awesome. You don't know what you're watching. It's really awesome, but you really can't put it together.
Yeah, like it's one of those things like where I'm watching it, I think I understand everything, and now that I'm trying to tell you all,
I know. I was like, wait, what did I just see?
But like,
that's
I don't
the
know.
illusion.
I love it so much. I love the idea that I love Clive Barker's just take on fantasy and noir and horror. And his idea of what a love interest should be, and
just like his idea of hell and the realms, and just like the the fifth dimension, just like his whole otherworldly. He has such a unique vision. Nobody's Clive Barker. Nobody.
Absolutely nobody. I wish like Nightbreed is amazing. Hellraiser is amazing.
Yeah.
Like his characters are so cool.
Even though he wrote Candyman, right?
Yeah,
like, that's
it's a
different vibe, but you still get that kind of otherworldly. Like he creates these fantastical worlds so well.
Yeah. I mean, there's books like I cannot recommend Books of Blood enough. There's so many unique stories in there that just like they open your mind. Magica Part 1 and 2, incredible. The Great and Secret Show is my favorite Clive Barker book with D'Amour. You know. I think the more people, if you're going to get into reading, which everybody should.
Everyone should pick up a book.
Really, honestly. I mean, I know you're in a book club. Like, you're a big reader.
The Losers Book Club. You can find us on Instagram.
But I grew up reading so many books, and Clive Barker was always, like, I don't think I've ever missed one that he's put out.
Well, we read The Hellbound Heart years ago when we first started, and it's just... I love his short stories. I love all of that. And he's just,
Lord of Illusions, the actual story, if I remember right, is very different. Like, I don't think there's a Nyx. I think there's like, Butterfield is a demon, and
oh wow,
yeah, and like, you know, Swan is actually dead, and like he's trying to save his soul or something. It's a very different story, which is interesting since, you know, he adapted it himself. Which, cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I want to know, as, you know, a person who's does tarot and has psychic intuition things, like, how do you feel about the way that's portrayed in this movie?
I'm very flattered that you asked me this for all the movies. You know, you and Kay are
this has so been your month.
It has been, and I feel very in my element. It makes me feel at home and not want to hide because people think it's crazy, which, you know, I understand. I totally understand how weird it can be, but, you know, I'm comfortable in my skin. And so, yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of tarot that I, you know, in terms of the literal actual tarot readings, but I do love how they did portray that, like, you know, when you compare it to Tarot, the movie Tarot, how she had the Six of Swords, but she ended up dying literally like the Ten of Swords. I thought about that when he pulled the Ten of Swords card, and then the swords kept falling in a really beautiful way, and that was literally like a Ten of Swords kind of thing. I wasn't trying to compare them, but I thought back to Tarot, how they did that. And you know, I really like how they incorporated mysticism and actual magic, like what you consider quote unquote, I wouldn't say witchcraft because there's no mention of witch, anything like that, but it is that kind of magic mixed with magician magic, like gimmicky magic, and I love that combination. I wish there were more movies like that. Are there?
I mean, sure, like
horror. I know there's like that one with Jesse Eisenberg or whatever, but
oh yeah,
I didn't see it. But I don't know if there's like I don't know if there's like maybe magic with Anthony. If there's any more magic horror, like literal magician magic horror,
is Wizard of Gore a magic movie? I don't know if I've ever. I feel like I haven't sat down and watched that ever. But
anybody write down or shout out on Instagram, get in touch with us because we love this shit.
So, and I kind of feel like Nick's, like, they keep calling him the Puritan?
The Puritan.
And like I feel like compare his character to like the magician, compare his character to the magician card in the tarot deck.
Ooh, okay. I mean, you can interpret that card in different ways depending on if you read reversals or not, which I don't, but I know the reversal can mean certain things. The magician is supposed to be, if it represents you, it's kind of like you have the skill set, you have all the tools you need to, you know, succeed on your path, because it comes right after the Fool card. And the Fool is like taking a leap of faith kind of thing. And the magician's like, here's your skill set. But it can also be read as don't be manipulated. It could also be like a puppet master. So I see him as like the reversal of the magician of being like the puppet master. He's like, you could easily be manipulated. Like it's an illusion, Don't fall into the illusion could be a way to see that card.
So who do you think would be the magician card? Would it be Swan or would it be Nyx?
I think Swan would be upright. Nyx would be reversed.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, because Swan is like, when he's younger too, he's on the beginning of his journey. He's naive and he needs that skill set. He needs the tools that Nyx could give him. And when he grows up, he has that and, he does it in his own way. But taken too far to the extreme, it could be like Nyx, where you are the puppet master. You're the manipulator. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where I'm just like, I can't imagine Swan in this setting of the desert with like all these like dead animals everywhere.
He seems like the pale kid like us who's like, it's 75 degrees, it's too hot.
Yes. So it's interesting to me, but it's also interesting that he had this ambition, even though he survived this crazy cult. Like he's like, I'm gonna make millions of dollars off of this shit.
Why not? I mean, especially if that's what, he's not trying to hurt anybody. He's like, this is what I do. This is what I know how to do. People think it's fake, but it's real. And why not?
Yeah, he's a complex guy.
He is. He's kind of hot in a weird way. But and on that note,
well, there you go. Well, this is the last of Mystic May.
Yes.
All right. Well, on that note, thank you so much for joining us for Mystic May, even though we're here into June. If there's any movies in like that kind of fit in the mystic realm that we've missed that you think we should have covered or that you really like, let us know in comments. We'd love to hear from you guys. And we're getting ready. We're hyping up for June. We've got a whole month of we're calling it the summer of slashers. We're getting a little weird with it. Not typical. We're not your,
we're not your basic slasher bitches.
We're not your normal slashers. We're your cool slashers.
We're your cool slashers.
Yeah. So we're going to cover a whole month of slasher movies that are sort of out of the box. That sort of, do different things out of the norm of the genre.
Innovative
slashers.
Break the rules.
So
a little bit.
Please join us for that.
And if you are listening to this, you can find us wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple, Spotify, you name it. If you're watching this, please like and subscribe, click the bell, keep posted because we got a lot of good stuff coming up.
All right, well, until next time, sweet screams, everyone.
And whatever you do, don't fall asleep first. I was about to say again for some reason, but that's very fitting for me. Don't fall asleep again, bitch.
I'm going to write on your face while you're asleep.
Draw a dick.